It finally happened. The beef that's been simmering for over a decade just exploded like a reality show finale on steroids. 50 Cent has officially gone nuclear after shocking reports surfaced claiming Rick Ross is tied to a mind-blowing $120 million Big Meech scandal. Yeah, you heard that right, $120 million. That's not pocket change. That's buy your own country money. The streets are buzzing, the blogs are melting, and the fans, they're grabbing popcorn like it's the Super Bowl of pettiness. The scandal has more layers than a Drake diss track, alleged money deals, broken loyalty, and accusations that make the BM series look like a documentary teaser. And trust me, 50 Cent isn't just reacting, he's obliterating. The man went on full savage mode, dragging Rick Ross through the digital dirt with bars, memes, and verbal grenades. He's calling him out, line by line, like a prosecutor who's been waiting 10 years for his closing argument. This isn't rap beef anymore, this is financial warfare. The kind that exposes receipts, rewrites reputations, and ends careers. So buckle up, because what's about to unfold makes the Kanye vs. Taylor saga look like kindergarten drama. When the rumor first broke that Rick Ross was somehow tied to a $120 million scandal connected to Big Meech, the internet did what it always does, went from zero to nuclear in 5 minutes. Within hours, Twitter looked like a courtroom, Instagram turned into a documentary, and 50 Cent, oh, he turned into a one-man FBI task force with Wi-Fi. Let's set the scene. This isn't just any feud. This is one of hip-hop's longest-running, pettiest, most unpredictable wars. 50 Cent vs. Rick Ross, a saga that spanned music, memes, baby mamas, and lawsuits. But this time, the drama hit a new level: money, betrayal, and the ghost of Big Meech, the man whose name carries legendary weight in both the streets and the culture. The leak started quietly. A blog no one paid attention to dropped a cryptic headline: documents suggest Rick Ross linked to $120 million BM rights deal gone wrong. At first, nobody believed it until the screenshots started circulating. Alleged contracts, email chains, and receipts connecting Ross's name to a questionable deal involving Big Meech's story rights. Now, for context, Big Meech isn't just a name. He's the reason the BM vampire even exists, the reason Detroit, Atlanta, and the rap game all share one of the most infamous legacies ever. And guess who's been telling that story to the world for the last few years? 50 Cent. He's been the executive producer behind the BM TV series, a project that's not just a hit, it's a passion project. So when 50 caught wind that Rick Ross was allegedly trying to cash in on Meech's name behind the scenes through some mysterious multi-million-dollar partnership, he didn't just take it personal, he took it biblical. Now, here's where things go left. The receipts looked real. We're talking email threads between Ross's management and a shady entertainment lawyer who claimed to have exclusive documentary rights to Big Meech's early years. The alleged goal? To build a parallel BM project to compete with 50's series. And the price tag? $120 million. Fans started doing the math. That's way more than what stars reportedly paid for the actual BM deal. So if true, this wasn't just a flex, it was a potential hijack. And if there's one thing you don't do in this lifetime, it's mess with 50 Cent's money or his ego. Within hours, 50 dropped a series of posts that shook the internet. First came the cryptic one, a screenshot of a luxury Maybach with the caption, "That's what fake bosses buy when they're running from real paperwork." No names, no tags, but the streets knew exactly who he meant. Then came the kill shot. A second post, a black and white photo of Big Meech and 50 on set, with the caption, "Only one man can tell this story. The rest just talk too much." Boom. The rap world froze. Because 50 doesn't subtweet, he snipes. And when he starts dropping indirects, it's usually the warm-up before the war.by nightfall. The comments were pure chaos. One fan wrote, "50 waking up every morning choosing violence." Another added, "Ross better check those contracts before 50 checks him in court." Then, as if the universe wanted extra fuel, a podcast host claimed to have inside info that Ross was trying to buy out BMF affiliates to get exclusive interviews for his own docuseries, all while claiming to have Meech's blessing. That's when the fanbase split. Half of them said Ross was just doing business after all. Hip-hop loves a hustle. The other half said he was crossing a sacred line, turning a real man's legacy into a dollar sign. And right in the middle of the chaos was 50, dropping another bomb on X Twitter. Ain't no blessing when it come with betrayal. You can't sell a story that don't belong to you, the internet collectively screamed. He's talking about Ross. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It became a morality play, loyalty vs. legacy, greed vs. respect. Blogs ran wild. The Shade Room called it a cultural scandal. Vlad TV released a 10-minute breakdown titled Rick Ross, 50 Cent, and the $120 million BMF power move. Even academics chimed in saying, this might be the biggest hip-hop business beef since Birdman and Wayne. And then came the receipts that made everyone choke. Someone leaked a legal document, a draft contract listing Rick Ross's company as a development partner for a BMF-related media project. The fine print mentioned licensing rights, story adaptation, and international streaming options totaling, you guessed it, around $120 million. Now, was it legit? That's still up for debate. But perception is reality online. And the internet had already convicted Ross in the court of memes. One viral meme showed 50 Cent as a judge saying, case closed. You owe Meech 120 mil and me 50 more for stress. Another showed Ross holding monopoly money with the caption, when the boss forgets to pay the real bosses. But beneath the humor, this was getting serious. Because if any of these leaks were even halfway true, Ross could be facing a massive legal issue. You can't just sell a story tied to a real man's life when another studio already owns the exclusive rights. That's lawsuit territory. And 50 knows lawsuits. He's not just a king of trolling, he's a master strategist. He uses the internet like a chessboard. Every post, every quote, every meme is a move. So when Ross tried to downplay the rumors by posting a picture of himself eating lobster in Miami with the caption, bosses don't argue, they negotiate. It was game over. Because guess what 50 did next? He reposted the same image zoomed in with the caption, negotiate that refund. That post alone broke Instagram's algorithm for the day. Comments were insane. Celebrities were lurking. Even Meek Mill allegedly liked one of 50's posts, only two. Unlike it an hour later, once fans noticed, the feud had gone from whispers to digital warfare, and at the center of it all was Big Meech's name, a name that demands respect, not exploitation. People started asking the real questions. Who's telling the truth? Is Ross really out here trying to profit off Meech's legacy? Or is this just another 50 Cent takedown campaign? Either way, the optics were ugly. Because if there's one thing we know about 50 Cent, he doesn't attack without ammo. And if he's going this hard, it's because he's holding something the public hasn't seen yet. The industry knows this pattern. First comes the shade, then comes the proof, then comes the career obituary. And judging by the way he was tweeting, posting, and laughing about it, it's clear 50 Cent wasn't done. He was warming up, because while the world was busy laughing at the memes, something else was brewing, a storm of evidence, interviews, and industry whispers that would take this $120 million scandal from rumor to reality. And the next phase, it wouldn't just drag Rick Ross's name, it would expose just how deep this scandal really goes. If you thought the $120 million Big Meech scandal was just another exaggerated internet rumor, think again, because part 2 of this chaos didn't just shake the industry. It shattered it like a 50 Cent disbeat drop. What started as a whisper in blog comment sections suddenly turned into full-blown investigative theater. Every media outlet wanted a piece. Every YouTuber was decoding clues like it was the hip-hop version of CSI Miami. And every fan had a theory. And then, boom, 50 Cent went off. The man who built his entire career out of turning beef into billion-dollar branding decided this one wasn't just personal, it was principled. Within 24 hours, he started firing off posts that made even his haters admit, this dude's PR game is terrifying. His first move? A savage Instagram story that read, Imagine trying to scam Meech for $120 million while pretending to be a boss. Clown season in full effect. That post alone had over 500,000 shares in a few hours. You could almost hear the collective gasp across social media. The comment section looked like a digital riot. 50 waking up every day and choosing chaos again. One fan wrote. Another chimed in. Ross better lawyer up before 50 Cent turns this into a Power spin-off. And that's exactly what it started to feel like, a real-life episode of Power, because within hours, another leak hit the timeline. A whistleblower, allegedly someone connected to the deal, dropped a 15-page PDF on Reddit with what they claimed were contract breakdowns, communication logs, and proposal drafts involving Rick Ross's production company. The deal allegedly aimed to produce a fictionalized BMF-inspired series, backed by private investors, and using Big Meech's likeness without official clearance. Translation: a massive lawsuit waiting to happen. The craziest part: the leaked document had one detail that made the internet completely lose its mind. It listed the potential budget cap as $120 million and included a clause titled, "Projected Streaming Partnership Discussions." Fans immediately linked that phrase to Netflix and Amazon. That's when it got messy. Industry insiders started whispering that Rick Ross had been shopping around an unauthorized BMF concept to streaming platforms, claiming it was a reimagined version of Meech's story from a different angle. The goal? Compete with 50 Cent's BMF series by presenting a more luxury lifestyle portrayal instead of a street drama. It was like trying to remake The Godfather while the original director was still alive. Pure insanity. 50 Cent, of course, didn't let that slide. He dropped another post this time, a clip from BMF where Big Meech says, "Real bosses move in silence," followed by his own caption, "Somebody forgot that part." The comment section turned into a war zone. Fans from both sides clashed like it was WWE. "Ross just making money moves," one wrote. "Nah, that's not business. That's betrayal." Another replied. Then the memes hit. Oh, the memes. Twitter was a bloodbath. One viral tweet said, "Rick Ross out here remixing 50's life story like a DJ with no permission." Another had Ross photoshopped holding fake BMF contracts with monopoly money falling from the sky. But the biggest blow came when 50 posted a video compilation titled, "When Fake Bosses Try to Play Real Legends." It featured clips of Ross bragging about being the biggest, followed by old footage of Big Meech talking about loyalty. Cut to the sound of a cash register and 50's evil laugh. It was part comedy, part homicide. Even celebrities started taking sides. Boozy said on Live, "Man, that BM story belongs to 50. Anybody else touching that is trippin'." Charlemagne the God said on The Breakfast Club, "Ross might have overstepped. You can't rewrite another man's legacy for clicks." Meanwhile, Rick Ross, true to form, tried to play it cool. He posted a story of himself smoking a cigar in his mansion, saying, "Bosses don't respond to peasants." That line? Fatal mistake, because you never call 50 Cent a peasant unless you want him to ruin your week. Hours later, 50 reposted that clip with the caption, "Says the boss who keeps making other men's stories his storyline. I ain't seen a hit since Port of Miami 2. Ouch." Fans were howling. Even Diddy liked the post for 5 minutes before unliking it, but the screenshots were already captured, and then the investigation angle kicked in. Literal journalists started digging. Rolling Stone released a digital feature titled The BMF Empire: Who Owns the Streets, the Story, and the Legacy. In it, they mentioned unconfirmed claims of a $120 million unauthorized deal and noted that 50 Cent's legal team had been closely monitoring the situation. You could feel the tension through the screen. This wasn't fun beef anymore. It was starting to smell like litigation. Fans started begging 50 not to go too far, knowing his track record. The man doesn't stop until someone's reputation is financially evaporated. And Ross, his silence spoke volumes. He didn't deny the documents, didn't clarify the accusations, nothing. Instead, he doubled down with subliminal posts, designer watches, Maybach selfies, captions like 120 ain't even half my net worth. The internet roasted him alive. One comment said, "Cap so loud we can hear it from Miami," another said. "If you have to remind us you're rich, the scam might be real." But then came the plot twist nobody saw coming. A former BMF affiliate, someone who actually knew Meech, went on a YouTube live and said, "That man Meech ain't never gave no blessing to Rick Ross for nothing. If it ain't through 50, it ain't official." That clip hit the algorithm like a grenade. The streets started talking again. People began questioning Ross's credibility all over. His boss image started looking more like borrowed. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was basking in the chaos. He even joked about it in a now-deleted post, saying, "I might name my next show $120 million mistake. Coming soon." The man turned an accusation into a marketing plan, pure genius. At this point, the internet wasn't even sure what was real anymore. Was this an actual $120 million scam? Was it exaggerated? Was it a publicity stunt for both rappers? No one knew. But one thing was crystal clear: the power balance had shifted again. Rick Ross looked defensive. 50 Cent looked unstoppable. And Big Meech's name? It was now trending higher than any rapper alive. Even casual fans who didn't care about the feud were locked in. YouTubers were dropping explainer videos. TikTokers were making timeline breakdowns with dramatic voiceovers. And conspiracy threads were connecting dots between Ross's old lyrics and his supposed boss deals. Because that's the thing about 50: when he moves, he makes content. And in this new era, content is power. But behind all the memes and jokes, there was a serious undertone. The question lingered: if this $120 million scandal had any truth to it, could it legally bury Ross's empire? Or would 50 Cent, as usual, just turn this entire circus into another business win? Because history shows, when 50 sees blood in the water, he doesn't stop at memes, he monetizes it. And if part 2 proved anything, it's this: Rick Ross may have money, but 50 Cent has momentum. The next move would decide everything, and as we were about to find out, the final chapter of this scandal wasn't going to end quietly, because 50 wasn't just exposing Ross. He was about to make him regret ever saying the word boss. By the time part 3 of this chaos hit the timeline, the internet wasn't even calling it a scandal anymore, it was a meltdown. Rick Ross's name was trending next to 120 Million, Big Meech, and 50 Cent, like a rap version of The Wolf of Wall Street. But this wasn't about movies or luxury mansions anymore. This was about reputation, and 50 Cent was holding the receipts like a prosecutor ready to make closing arguments. The world had already seen the memes, the contracts, the shade. But then, the game changed. Reports surfaced claiming 50 Cent's legal team had begun reviewing intellectual property violations related to the alleged Big Meech media deal. Translation: Ross's $120 million fictionalized project wasn't just messy, it was potentially illegal. That's when 50 dropped his biggest bomb yet. On Instagram, he posted a photo of himself outside a courthouse with the caption, "We don't do fake paperwork over here." Some people gone learn the hard way. Instant viral moment. The picture went everywhere. TMZ. The Shade Room. Hollywood Unlocked. It was like watching a man throw gasoline on a wildfire and then walk away smiling. Ross, meanwhile, tried to save face. He posted a clip of himself on his estate, surrounded by cars, saying, "I don't beef with broke energy." The empire continues. But the problem was nobody was buying the act anymore. The boss image was cracking. Because for the first time in his career, Ross looked like he'd lost control of the narrative. And 50, he knew it. He smelled fear. On his next live stream, 50 said, "You can't call yourself a boss if the paperwork don't match." That's like flexing fake chains in front of the jeweler. The internet went nuts. Within hours, fake boss became a trending tag. Fan pages re-edited old Ross music videos, adding subtitles like "allegedly funded by BMF money" and 120 million of cap. It was brutal and genius, because 50 Cent wasn't just fighting, he was marketing. He started reposting fan edits, teasing the idea that all this real-life drama might inspire a new BMF season storyline. And the fans ate it up. Suddenly, his scandal coverage doubled as promotion. Power Universe clips saw spikes in views. BMF trended again. Every time Ross tried to defend himself, It only fueled 50's empire. But the real shock came when Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery JRB, Big Meech's actual son, subtly entered the chat. On his Instagram story, he shared a photo of himself on set with 50 and captioned it, "Only one version of the story matters. Respect the real." That single sentence was the knockout punch. Because when the real Meech family sides with 50, Ross automatically loses the credibility game. Fans reposted it like scripture. Case closed. One comment said, "The streets picked their side." Even industry veterans started chiming in. Fat Joe said during an interview, "You can't play with a legend's name for a check. That's the code. Meech is sacred ground." Meanwhile, Snoop Dogg joked on Twitter, "120 mil? Somebody better check those accounting books." Nephew, it wasn't just gossip anymore, it was public humiliation on a global scale. Ross's team reportedly tried to clear the air behind the scenes, claiming the project wasn't a BMF copy, just inspired by real events. But by that point, nobody cared about semantics. The damage was done. Every headline framed it the same way. Rick Ross faces backlash over $120 million Big Meech deal, 50 Cent response. And that's when Ross finally cracked. He posted a long statement on Instagram, trying to downplay the situation, writing, "The media loves to twist narratives. I've always shown love to Meech, and I'd never disrespect his name. Business is business. The boss moves differently." But that caption only made things worse because 50 screenshot it, reposted it, and added, "Then show the paperwork. Boss, let's see who signed what." That post alone hit 3 million views in under 2 hours. From that point forward, it wasn't even a fair fight. The fans had chosen a side, the blogs were all in, and even neutral pages were calling it the $120 million scam of the century. Ross tried to distract the public with new music snippets and flashy car videos, but nobody cared. Every comment under his posts was the same. "Where's the 120 meters? Big Meech didn't approve this. 50 Cent ended your franchise, bro." Meanwhile, 50 was celebrating like he'd just dropped another hit album. He posted a champagne photo with the caption, "Winning without dropping a verse. Must be nice." And honestly, it was. Because in classic 50 Cent fashion, he didn't need to rap a single bar, he used social media as his microphone. The crazy thing, this wasn't even about money anymore. It was about legacy. See, Ross built his entire brand around being the boss, luxury, power, control. But now, fans were questioning what kind of boss gets caught in a paperwork scandal tied to one of the most respected names in hip-hop history. Meanwhile, 50, the self-proclaimed king of petty, just elevated himself to king of precision. He didn't just troll, he strategically dismantled his rival's empire, one meme at a time. And while no court filings have been publicly confirmed yet, the buzz alone has already done irreversible damage. Ross's brand deals reportedly took a hit, his streams dipped slightly, and blogs started labeling him the fake boss who fumbled with Big Meech's name. It's poetic justice, 50 Cent style, because if you know his history, you know he plays the long game. He doesn't just destroy you in the moment. He makes sure you trend for all the wrong reasons for weeks. He did it to Ja Rule. He did it to Floyd Mayweather. And now, Rick Ross just became the latest addition to his digital trophy case. And the best part, 50 Cent didn't even have to raise his voice. Just a few captions, a few pictures, and boom, a $120 million empire turned into an internet meme. By the end of the week, the conversation wasn't, did Rick Ross scam Big Meech anymore? It was, how does 50 Cent keep doing this? Because every time the rap world thinks they've seen his last act, he comes back with something even more ruthless, calculated, and hilarious. And whether the $120 million story was real or exaggerated, one thing's undeniable, 50 Cent won the narrative. Rick Ross looked like a man defending himself. 50 looked like a man writing history, and Big Meech, his name stayed right where it belongs, respected, untouched, and protected by someone who actually cares about his legacy. So yeah, Ross might have his mansions, his cars, and his money, but 50 Cent, he has something priceless, the final word, and in the world of hip-hop, that's worth more than $120 million any day. And there you have it, the $120 million storm that turned Rick Ross's boss empire into a full-blown circus and reminded everyone that 50 Cent doesn't do mercy, he does demolition. From shady contracts to Big Meech's sacred legacy, this wasn't just another rap feud, it was a masterclass in power plays. Ross tried to make a move behind the scenes, but 50 Cent flipped the whole board, exposed every angle, and made him trend for all the wrong reasons. The man weaponized the internet like a billionaire with Wi-Fi and zero chill. And the best part, 50 didn't even need a diss track, he let the truth and the memes do the heavy lifting. So before you scroll away, do what real hustlers do, smash that like button like you're collecting $120 million in fake contracts. Subscribe before the next scandal hits, and ring that bell so loud it wakes up Rick Ross's PR team. Because here on Truth Tattle, we don't chase drama, we predict it. Drop your thoughts below. Did Rick Ross really try to outsmart the streets? Or is this just another chapter in 50's legendary troll empire? Is this about business or betrayal? Either way, one thing's for sure, 50 Cent once again proved that revenge isn't just sweet, it's profitable. This is Truth Tattle, where lies get receipts, bosses get humbled, and every headline gets louder than the last. Stay watching, stay wild, and remember, in this game, the price of power is always paid in public.